Donald Trump walked into The Hague this week with a clear goal: get Europe to pay more for its defense. And he got exactly what he wanted. NATO's final declaration pledged a record 5% of its budget to defense and reaffirmed the Article 5 commitment that an attack on one is an attack on all. On paper, it looked like a triumph, but behind the scenes, the atmosphere was anything but celebratory, especially for Ukraine. While Trump claimed victory, President Volodymyr Zelensky stood quietly in the shadows. The summit's final statement didn't even bother to condemn Russia's full-scale invasion. The message to Kyiv was unmistakable. NATO unity doesn't mean what it used to. Baltic leaders too were left alarmed. Trump's past threats to abandon NATO commitments still linger, and his new ambiguity over Article 5 only added fuel to the fire. For frontline nations bordering Russia, this wasn't reassurance, it was a warning. Zelensky had already been struggling with battlefield losses, dwindling supplies, and growing public fatigue. Now he's facing the cold reality of political fatigue in the West as well. During a tense Oval Office meeting, Trump reportedly told Zelensky that Ukraine is running out of soldiers. His vice president, J.D. Vance, went further, attacking Ukraine's forced conscription measures. These weren't offhand remarks. They were public rebukes. Under pressure, Zelensky did something he'd long resisted. He opened military conscription to men as young as 18. It wasn't a strategic choice. It was desperation. Even that hasn't been enough to change the tide. Russia is advancing slowly but steadily in Donetsk, Kharkiv, and Sumy. Ukraine's veterans are exhausted or wounded. Replacements are young, undertrained, and poorly equipped. Morale is cracking, and military aid from the United States drying up. With Trump now back in the White House, the message is clear: no more open-ended support. Ukraine is shifting its procurement strategy accordingly. Instead of requesting fighter jets or cruise missiles, it's begging for Patriot air defense systems just to keep the lights on in Kyiv. Europe is trying to fill the gap. Germany is sending long-range rockets and 100 Patriot missiles. The Netherlands has finished transferring its F-16s. Britain is backing drone production. Even Norway may double its fighter jet deliveries. But it's not enough. Europe's own military stockpiles are thin. Its factories are just now ramping up after decades of underinvestment. And Ukraine's domestic arms industry, though resilient, can't match the scale of Russia's war machine or the missiles flowing in from North Korea. Still, Ukraine fights on. General Alexander Syrskyi says they've stopped the Russian advance in Sumy. Ukrainian drones struck Russian strategic bombers in Operation Spiderweb. These are tactical victories. They matter, but they won't end the war. Putin is playing the long game, hoping the West breaks before Russia does. And in some ways, it's working. The same Ukrainians who once dreamed of joining Europe now wonder if Europe still dreams of them. NATO's silence on Russia's aggression, the hollow promises of membership, the summit photo ops that exclude Zelensky, these are not oversights. They are signals. Trump and NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte celebrated defense spending increases. But for Ukraine, those numbers mean little if they're not matched by real weapons, real commitments, say, and real urgency. What good is a stronger NATO if the country at the front line of European defense is left to fend for itself? The war is not over. But Ukraine's political honeymoon with the West might be. And if Kyiv falls out of the transatlantic orbit, not through defeat, but through disillusion, then Trump's NATO victory will come at a historic cost, not just to Ukraine, but to the entire Western alliance. Because if Ukraine loses, Europe loses, and so does everything NATO claims to stand for. If you found this analysis helpful and want to stay informed on the real stories behind global headlines, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. We dig deeper so you get the full picture.